Hey guys, it is Philip from PR Moves back again for the first of our weekly predictions for your Chicago Bears games this season. If you are not a Chicago Bears or a Los Angeles Rams fan and you want to hear about your team's prediction for tomorrow, first week of the NFL, let's go. Go to my video from Wednesday on the 4 videos per week schedule. That is going to be when my less dense, more concise predictions are dropped. So you guys are going to want to go and see those. But we're going to jump into this Bears versus Rams prediction. Now, we all know Bears versus the Rams. We've played them every single year since 2018. We're 1-2 against them in that time. For some context, we have I believe a 54-38 lead over them in the all-time series. We have beaten them in the playoffs a few times. Been some very memorable moments, but we're hoping to make this one a memorable moment as we jump into the final prediction for the Bears versus the Rams. Week 1, let's get it. Starting off, we're going to break this down position group versus position group, and the only position group we're not talking about here is we're not talking about the quarterbacks. That's going to be saved for the end when we do like the full prediction. So we're going to start off here with the Bears receivers versus the Rams defensive backs, and then vice versa. So let's start off, and here we go. Of course, the Bears wide receivers, we all know them, we all love them. Expect a lot of Damiere Byrd as well. This is literally just pulled directly off of the depth chart. So Marquise Goodwin is listed as the wide receiver 3. Cole Kmet is listed as the starting tight end, and David Montgomery is listed as the starting running back, even though Matt Nagy claims he's going to get 25 carries a game. I don't think that's going to happen. But that's the Bears starting receivers. And then for the defensive backs of the Rams, Jalen Ramsey. We all know about Jalen Ramsey versus Darnell Mooney. But also Jalen Ramsey versus Allen Robinson has been a really good matchup over the past 2 years. Robinson caught that 50-yard bomb over him yesterday. Or last year, my bad. But that's going to be really interesting to watch. And then Darius Williams, corner number 2, he was super good last year. Plays a lot like Kyle Fuller. And then their slot corner, David Long. He's kind of unknown. They lost Troy Hill, who was their slot corner last year. David Long has played some time. I don't think he's ever been bad. So it's going to be interesting to see how Matt Nagy might try to exploit him. And then some other new faces, Jordan Fuller and Taylor Rapp, who both played significant times over the past 2 years. Don't also count out Terrell Burgess, who is their relief defensive back. He'll plug in anywhere on the defensive back line. And so they still have a pretty deep defensive back group, even without Troy Hill and John Johnson. And I thought that they were going to more address how deep they wanted this defensive back room in free agency and the draft, but they spent their money on other things. So, but overall, if I had to say how well I think the Bears are going to do against this Rams defensive back group, I think they could easily, with the right game plan, get easy yards on this Ram team. I think Mooney can beat anyone but Ramsey, and he's beaten Ramsey a few times already. Robinson can be anyone but Ramsey. Kmet had 3 catches for 70 yards in the first game against the Rams. And Montgomery is just an amazing catch out of the backfield guy. So, yeah, pretty easily, I am going to give it to the Rams. I think that they will clamp up the Bears receivers, but I don't think it'll be as easy as some Rams fans or even some Bears fans are making it out to be. That's going to move us on right away to the Rams receivers versus the Bears defensive backs. Now, I have little confidence in the Bears. Okay. We need to look up the Rams' previous week 1 scores. They are very good week 1. Sean McVay is the best game planning head coach in the league when it comes to game planning for a specific offense. So, right now, I am going to easily we're going to get into details, but I'm going to easily give this to the Rams receivers. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Higbee, Darrell Henderson, Sony Michel, Jake Funk. Love Jake Funk. They're so deep at receiver, tight end, and running back. The Bears, on the other hand, are not. The only position the Bears are deep in on the secondary is safety. They have 4 pretty good safeties. Outside of that, our corners are so not great. They're not very great. Jalen Johnson, in his second year, I hope he's good. I don't think right now he has the breakaway speed to deal with someone like Robert Woods. But if Jalen Johnson is on Cooper Kupp or Van Jefferson, I'm pretty comfortable. I think he made a few pass breakups in the matchup from last year. And then Vildor is so spotty at times. Vildor will either be the best defensive back on the field or the worst. But he does have the speed to keep up with, say, Robert Woods. So it'll be interesting to see how Sean Desai deploys Kindle Vildor in this defense. And then Duke Shelley, who I didn't even think was going to have a shot as a starter this year, is now our starting slot corner, which does worry me quite a bit just because he's such a raw athlete. He's a very good tackler, but his coverage is very soft, and I'm not super excited about that. The best player in terms of coverage in our secondary is Eddie Jackson. Now, Eddie Jackson gets a lot of crap from Bears fans nowadays because he's not the best tackler. He never has been. But in coverage, he was still a top 15 safety in terms of coverage last year. And the 2019, he was top 5 in coverage grade. And then, of course, we all know how great his 2018 was. So even though he hasn't been as explosive in coverage as he was in 2018 and even in 2019, I think he's still the best player in coverage in the secondary. And then Deshaun Gibson was so solid as our strong safety last year. Expect that improved play from Deshaun Gibson, especially if they allow him to blitz and get into the box more. And expect Gibson and Jackson to move up and play some slot corner. Desai does that a lot. These Vic Fangio defenses make their defensive backs more hybrid. So expect that out of Deshaun Gibson, and pretty much I do think the Rams are going to pass the ball a lot and succeed a lot because I do think this Bears front 7 is kind of going to maul them up, and that's what we're going to get to right here. Looking at the Rams offensive line. Well, first, let's talk about the Bears. Bilal Nichols, Akeem Hicks, everyone. Eddie Goldman ruled out for this game. So ESPN has the starting defensive tackle listed as Chris Tonga. I don't think that's how it's going to go. I do have that on here just because that's what the Bears and ESPN have listed. But I think it's more going to be Bilal Nichols going back to what he was last year as a defensive tackle. And then Akeem Hicks and Angelo Blackson and even Travis Gibson jumping down and playing some defensive end. So that if I had to guess, that would be it. I think they're not going to force Chris Tonga, a 7th-round rookie, to go straight up against Austin Corbett and David Edwards, who are veteran guards like that, which would just be super difficult for him. But overall, Nichols, Mack, Hicks, I'm all super confident that they're going to be great at rushing the passer. Mack is one of the best run defenders in the league. If Tonga is playing, he's a very good run defending defensive tackle. Nichols got better over the course of last year at defending the run. And in general, our front 7, even if we let up 50 or 60 rush yards, has always been consistently good. So I think this is the one area of the game that our team can really for sure win. And that's getting pressure on Matt Stafford and making his throws a little bit more difficult. But we're going to quickly move on. I think that's our one area that we can win, though. And we're going to talk about the Rams front 7 versus our offensive line, which I think the Rams are also going to win in this category. Here's the thing. Sam Mustipher got his first ever start last year against the Rams. And he's played for so long, people know about Sam Mustipher now. He is good he is not the greatest run offensive line, but he is pretty good at pass defense. James Daniels, his rookie season, held Aaron Donald to only half the sack in their 2018 matchup, and he held Donald to 1 sack in their 2019 matchup, but that's still not very good. Our tackles are what really worry me. Jason Peters is 39. The combined tackles in this game are like 78 years old, for the record. It's hilarious. Jason Peters is 39. He's old. He's going to be going up against a very fast, very athletic Leonard Floyd, who benefited massively in this system last year. Even though it's not the same system with the new defensive coordinator, it's still worth talking about. And then Justin Hollins coming off the other side. Jermaine Ifedi was so terrible. It wouldn't surprise me if they line up Aaron Donald at right outside linebacker and just test Jermaine Ifedi every single play. I have no trust that Jermaine Ifedi will be even an average tackle on Sunday night. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to the Rams as well, which means they win 3 out of our 4 major categories, which is going to bring us to the overall prediction. All right, sorry for the jump cut there, but I had to finish the slide, and quickly, let's go down through the full predictions. I do have the Rams winning this game 27-18. I do have the Bears being down 27-10 and going for 2 to try to make the game seem closer than it was. That's a very Chicago Bears thing to do. I remember when we led the league in 2-point conversions back in 2016. So I do have the Rams winning pretty handily too. I do have Stafford throwing for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think our secondary is just too weak to really hold them back, and I don't think our pass rush is going to get enough pressure to really slow them down. Kupp, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. Again, just a product of I have no idea how our secondary is going to look, and my instinct says they're not going to look very good. Henderson and Michelle are going to both rack up to 70 yards. I don't think one of them gets a majority of the snaps, and I think they just get up to around 70 yards. Aaron Donald's going to grab a sack. He always gets at least 1 against us. A'Shawn Robinson, I think, is going to go right through Sam Mustipher on one of these plays as the nose tackle and also grab a sack. And Darius Williams, I think, is going to be the one to get the pick against Andy Dalton, who I have throwing for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, of course, 1 being to get to 7 points, then 1 from 10 to 18 points with the 2-point conversion. And then I do have him throwing the pick to Darius Williams. And then I have Allen Robinson getting 75 yards receiving and a touchdown. And then Montgomery getting 65 yards and Hicks grabbing a sack. So that's pretty much the whole predictions for the game. Overall, I think the Bears will keep it close in the first quarter. And then I think once the Rams are able to make adjustments like Sean McVay is so good at doing, they'll kind of pull away from this game. And while the final score will be a 2-score defensive-looking game, it's pretty much going to be a Rams victory. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the reaction with the video, and then on Monday for the first episode of Was He Good? And I'm so excited to get this content rolling. Let's go. I'll talk to you guys then.